y bienvenidos a Deuce as well. Daily Hustle. Soy Enrique Byrnes y presidente de su mejor cerveza. No abate por No Filter Network. Will the Thrill Clark not with us today. Miguelito San Dieguito not with us today. But we come on here each and every single morning and we properly salute our boys along with each and every one of you. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! Remember this, folks, when we are juiceful, we are useful, and when we are juiceless, we are fucking useless. This program is brought to you by Bet Online and the Foot Reflexology Board. For whatever reason, this one right here is fully pegged up. I don't know if it's my picture or why it looks like this. Looks a bit dirty. Anyhow, onward and upward. This is the Foot Reflexology Board. Pick this up at ericbyrnes.com. Also, if you have not gotten your copy of Let Them Play, a parenting and coaching guide to youth sports, go to ericbyrnes.com or Amazon to get that immediately. If you are a parent, if you are a coach, if you are a youth player, if you're a player at any level, to be honest with you, it is certainly worth the read. While there, go ahead and pick yourself up a Daily Hustle 222 Unfiltered Life Guide from a human crash test dummy along with the F-It list. Unfiltered life lessons from a human crash test dummy. So, anyhow, Bet Online is the title sponsor as well as all that other stuff. It is your number one online betting destination. Get all the latest news, scores, odds, trends, predictions, everything you fucking want over at Bet Online. You can access it on your computer, desktop. You can go ahead and use the mobile app, but it is there for you. Whether or not you can bet on Best in Show for tonight's Westminster Dog Show, I do not know, but hopefully that line is available for you. Today's Daily Hustle quote of the day. It's a good one. I got this morning. And basically, let's see here. Go to the very bottom here. It was about happiness. And it says a really controversial subject. But the problem with happiness is people are like, I'd be happy. It's like, well, I mean, is happiness an act? Is it a feeling? Or is it a combination of both? Because I don't think you get the feeling without acting. And this quote here kind of sums it all up. Happiness does not come from possessions, but from our appreciation of them. It does not come from our work, but from our attitude towards that work. It does not come from success, but from the growth we attain achieving that success. That's a process. That's it. We can talk about success and what success means. And look, success is all in our mind. How we define success is ultimately what success is. It's very subjective. It is not objective. Like people will say championships. Well, who's to say that a World Series championship, an MVP, a Cy Young, whatever, who's to say that's success? Well, I think we would pretty much universally agree that that certainly quantifies production. But is that success? Success, more than anything, is what John Wooden said. It's the peace of mind and knowing that you did your absolute best to become the best you're capable of becoming. That is success. That's what matters. So let's remember this, that, of course, on Wooden Wednesday. Let's get right into the top stories. Last night, Ronel Blanco, the young stud pitcher for the Houston Astros, who has already thrown a no-hitter this season, was ejected due to sticky substance found on his glove. Astros right hitter Ronel Blanco, one of baseball's breakout performers in the first 6 weeks of the regular season could be facing a 10-game suspension after he was ejected from Tuesday's 2-1 extra inning win over the A's because umpires found a sticky substance inside his glove. This was interesting because here was Blanco's quote. They told me they found something sticky in the glove, and that was a reason why they told me I couldn't continue to pitch with the glove. Blanco said the sticky substance was rosin he had put on his forearm, and it had made its way into the glove because of sweat. It's illegal for pitchers to have a sticky substance on their non-throwing hand, a rule which Blanco acknowledged he did not know. And here's his quote. He said, "No, I didn't know that was illegal," said Blanco, who threw a no-hitter in his first start of the season on April 1st against Toronto. Quote, "I see other pitchers come in and do it. I thought that was normal." Astros manager Joey Espada was able to examine the glove as well. He said that he could see white powder on the inside. He asked the umpires if Blanco could get a new glove and continue to pitch, and he was told no. Quote, "It sucks because he was throwing the ball well," Espada said. "I believe I kind of saw this substance in there and the stickiness to it." It says Batches checked Blanco's hands and glove after the first inning. Well, Kowalski's FaceTiming. Hold on a second. Let's get this. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen. This is a live daily hustle. Oh, hit the knock button, man. Yeah, we can have our conversation there. All right. See ya. That's really cool. So anyhow, the whole thing about this glove situation is that he had the bases loaded the inning before, and he ends up getting out of the jam. When he walks off the field, they check the glove. Everything's fine. He then goes back into the dugout. I'm sure is like, man, it's humid here. It's fucking Houston. It's May. I need a little extra something to get my grip on the ball. So he does whatever he does and puts a little rosin on the forearm, maybe a little sticky stuff, whatever. Comes back out, and then coming back out is when he ended up getting ejected when they checked the glove again. Really suspicious. It just makes you wonder how many guys are doing this, and we know that almost everybody, and when I say everybody, I mean fucking everybody, is using some kind of substance. If nothing else, it's just rosin. If it's rosin and sweat, but when you have rosin and sweat together, you know what that makes? A sticky substance. There's got to be something that we allow pitchers to use that can give them a proper grip on the fastball, curveball, or whatever their pitch they want to throw, and then we're not going to have this issue. To watch the umpires have to check the pitchers coming on and off the field every fucking inning, it's invasive. And what I saw last night was actually disturbing, and I think anybody will tell you this who's ever had a really good relationship with their glove, and it was the umpire sticking his fucking hand in Ronel Blanco's glove. It's one thing if you want to examine it, and you're kind of going around and you're looking at it, and he's sticky stuff, and maybe a little pat here, but when I saw this dude take his whole fucking hand and shove it up in there, I'm like, ugh, it just gave me the ibby-jibbies. Get your fucking hand out of another man's glove. That's ridiculous. Ugh. Let's go to Kowalski and see what he has to say about this. Because there's no way. Like, I don't even know if I've ever put my hand in Kowalski's glove. And Kowalski and I are super tight. Kowalski, I got to ask you, dude. Ronel Blanco ejected last night because of some sticky substance that ended up going, that he had on his glove, right? Well, when the umpire examined the glove, this was really disturbing. He took his entire hand and he stuck it in the glove. Like it was so ibby-jibby, man. It was literally as if it was another man's woman. And he was it was just one of the most uncomfortable feelings I've ever had watching a baseball game. And I guess only somebody who really cares for a glove and has treated their glove like a baby would understand this one. Your thoughts?
For over 100 years, guys have been using different substances to gain an advantage, whether it was spit, petroleum, jelly, whether it was a nail file, whether it was the metal that could stick out of the glove that you could cut the ball with. So this goes back as early as baseball does, but now it's gotten to the point where the jungle has overtaken the village with the regulation of what is allowed and what is not. And now we're in complete violation mode. We've got umpires out there giving gloves, guys' personal glove, a damn prostate exam. It is a complete violation. It does give you the willies. I don't think I've ever had a feeling like I had when I was watching him prostate exam, this glove. I mean, it's a known thing inside baseball. You don't go just shoving your hands into another guy's glove. That is a complete and total violation. So you can't get any more inside baseball than the tip of the sword of the big leagues. And we've got now the umpires violating guys' gloves, not to mention the level of superstition, which of course I don't generally believe in, but guys have habits and routines, and they put your glove that far deep inside of another man's glove. It's certainly what comes to mind as a man is, what's next? Is he taking out my wife tonight after the game? Is MLB going to start saying we're going to have to start speaking to spouses in addition to prostate examining the glove?
Dude, the analogy is perfect, but I think the best way for me to describe this to somebody that doesn't quite understand what we're talking about. Imagine if you were to go in to get a prostate exam, yet instead of sticking a finger up your ass and feeling for the prostate, the doctor decided to take his entire fist and shove it up there. It was awful. Oh, how violated Ronel Blanco must have felt by that umpire taking his entire mitts, a big old pause, and just horrible, horrific.
I heard that he actually, through a translator, said, "Poppy, this man had his whole arm inside my glove. Take me out, Poppy. I got to go get a new glove. It's over."
Yeah.
So I heard that they didn't necessarily want to throw him out of the ballgame, but he requested to come out because he felt so violated by MLB. And
that would make a lot of sense, dude. It really would. What's going on, bro?
I had a coaching client, my guy Darren Bell, out of Buffalo, New York, marathon runner. He had to reschedule, so I wanted to pop on and see what you were up to, and here we are.
Really? How's
I did a mind better this morning. I continue to break down the ABCs of mental performance skills. Today, the letter G for the Mind Bender Mental Performance Mastery podcast. The letter G was today. We do a daily 2 to 5 minute podcast out there breaking down the ABCs of mental performance skills.
So what is then the letter G?
The letter G, well, we start with good. And I'm sure everybody out there has heard the great Jocko Willink and his 2.5 minute video where he breaks down the word good and how the word good is essentially the modern American version of amor fati, the great Stoic philosophy and principle of amor fati, which essentially states that all things in your life happen for you, not to you, and become fuel for the fire of your life. So this good is number one. If you haven't seen Jocko Willink's 2.5 minute clip, I'm not going to do you a disservice by sharing the screen with you now and showing it to you. Go find it yourself. That way you stay with it. So good, number one. Get after it. Go watch good. Number two, gritty. Gritty beats pretty and toughness beats talent. Life is not so much a talent game as it is a strategy game. So we've got to make sure that we're gritty, because gritty always beats pretty and toughness beats talent. The third, gratitude. Gratitude. We need more gratitude and less attitude. And, gratitude builds resilience. Resilience can build a personal will within you. Some might call it discipline, that allows you to take the necessary actions every day to ensure that you win the day and thus win your life, because it's today plus today plus today plus today equals your goals. And then lastly, this will resonate with you, the school that ended up passing on Enrique. And Enrique said, I'll show you motherfuckers. I'm going all the way to the big leagues. But Stanford, the great professor out of Stanford, Carol Dweck, everybody probably knows her book, Growth Mindset. We have to have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. We've got to know that there is hope every day, that hold on, possibilities exist, and hearing other people's experiences. So we're going to be a learn-it-all, not a know-it-all. We're going to grow through the motions, not go through the motions. And we can only do that by having a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. So that's G, breaking down the G of ABCs of mental skills.
I love how on this you are. I mean, you're not fucking around. This is not something that you're taking lightly. You're very ready. It's not like, hey, let me come on and I'm going to fire you up and give you a few words of encouragement. You each and every single day have a game plan when working with these clients. One of our LTP kids, brand new client of Kowalski's, and extremely talented. It really is. But I think, you can obviously see it, because when things go south with this kid, they just spiral and it's over. But when he's on, he can't miss, whether he's on the mound or at the plate. I mean, I'm talking some of the most dialed in at bats, and at any point, he could be the best pitcher of the country. Yet, I think the biggest thing, Kowalski, is trying to eliminate the spiral. What advice would you give somebody who, say, has something difficult happen to them, for them, however you want to look at it? What is the best strategy getting back on track?
Well, I think, simply put, sport is rife with failure. And we have to develop a different lens in which we see failure by. Failure provides feedback. If anybody's ever seen the Black Mamba, the great late Kobe Bryant, talk about failure, he's like, I love failure. Failure gives me feedback. Failure gives me information. And then he basically goes through a well, better, how. He goes, failure shows me what I'm doing well, what I'm not doing well. It shows me what I can be doing better. And then I develop a strategy as I reflect and refocus on how I can get better. So in the moment, when things start to spiral, we call that something called signal lights. So we know a red light means stop. You can't go forward. A yellow light means, I got to start to slow down and proceed with caution. A green light means go. We're feeling it. We've got full flow. So when we start to get in that red light state, we have to have a couple things that we go to that pattern interrupt us. And we do that a few ways. And we talked about this in the past when we're in the batter's box, but we'll take it from 3 different places. One, when you're in your box, right? When you're in your box, we have a signal light release where we go to a focal point. That could be the left field foul pole, let it go. It could be unstrapping and strapping the batting gloves. It could be using the cleat to sweep the dirt away in your box. And then we go to a breath. Once we go to that breath, in your box, you're going to go sweet spot on the barrel. And then we go to our 3 keys to keep it simple, or our 1-word focus. So some guys like to go to execute. Some guys like to go this pitch. Josh Hader likes to say, breathe, let it eat, fuck you, when he's on the mound. The great Sean Casey, lifetime 300 hitter, like to say, see ball, be easy, hammer it. So that's our 3-step release process when you're in the box. When you're on your island, because when you're on the bump, it's your island. That's your home out there. When you're on the bump, you're going to catch the ball. For the big league guys, we tell them to look at the wire above. But for, our youth guys, oftentimes they can look on something on the glove. They're wearing, a band around their wrist, whatever that can be. They're going to go to that focal point, and then they're going to go to the breath, pre-pitch, and then they're looking up, find the target. Maybe you want to pick one stitch on the field commander's glove. Another breath. Breathe, let it eat. Fuck you. Now we make our pitch. So, in order to slow the game down, we first must slow ourselves down. And I think where we get into problems and the spiral starts to happen is the game starts to speed up on you. And lastly, when we're in the field as a position player, if you're a dirt, not a grass guy, right? We're going to look down. We're going to use our cleat immediately to wipe that play away, because each and every pitch has a life and history of its own. And if we're in the past, that's depression. If we're in the future, that's anxiety. We got to be locked in, 100% present moment focus on task execution. We get too much in this comparison state, not in a competition state. We get expecting, well, I have this expectation. We got to get out of that. So it's about execution, not expectation. It's about competing, not comparing. And how do you do it? First, it starts with the breath. Bigger the moment, bigger the breath. So if you remember nothing about a signal light release, bigger the moment, bigger the breath. Act big, be big. So
one of my favorite quotes from last week that I dug into was that amateurs work until they get it right. Pros work until they can't get it wrong. The persistence in action then breeds confidence. We could talk all we want about confidence and, even slowing the game down. Look, I will tell you from my on-field experience that the game slows down when you're properly trained for that game. When I was a kid and I went in to take a test, say, for example, I remember, I think it was the pre-SAT, and I never studied for the pre-SAT, right? I just go in there, and I was so fucking overwhelmed with this test. It was, my ADD was kicking in. I was nervous. I wanted to do well. Even at that point, I knew there was a certain SAT I was going to have to reach if I wanted to go to Stanford or UCLA or whatever. And so this meant something to me, right? I had exterior motivation than just doing well in this test. And I bombed it. I don't know. It's maybe about 700, right? If it's like barely over like what the legal limit would be to be able to get into school. And then I took an SAT course specifically for preparing for that test. And I got after it, dude. And I got after it. And I trained. I went back. I took the SAT one fucking time. I mean, it was just like that and increased to 1100. So think about that. Like is it anything eye-popping? No. But 1,000 was the bare minimum that I knew that I had to get with the Stanford standards, right? Bottom barrel Stanford standards. So from there, though, I went into that test, and it's like my anxiety, the feeling that I had, everything just slowed down. It was like, yeah, no problem. And sure enough, I did great. But you have to prepare. A lot of that is action. The other one that was brought up today, Kowalski, you like this quote: happiness does not come from possessions, but from our appreciation of them. It does not come from our work, but our attitude towards that work. It does not come from success, but from the growth we attain achieving that success. And then it brings up the question I talked about right when we first came on, is like, what is success? Success is purely subjective. It doesn't matter. Like, you could say any championship, any award, any MVP, like that's not success. Success is exactly what John Wooden said here on this Wooden Wednesday, which is the peace of mind and knowing that we did our best to become the very best we're capable of becoming. That is success. But that still is only success if it's within your mind. Is that correct?
I think it's absolutely correct. I mean, we all have our own definition of success, but the more important question is, how do you know you got better today? What are you doing to quantify and track that? So I think if you don't know and you're feeling like you're always at a 5, then start to quantify your days on a very simple level. At the end of the day, go 1 through 10. What went well? And then you can look back and go, hey, these 3 days were a 5. I wonder if there's some clues embedded in how I live my life, my behaviors, actions, and routines that I could amend a little bit to ensure that I get a higher score. I mean, you just want to look at how you eat, how you move, what your mindset is like, how you sleep. Those are the 4 foundational things to look at. And then from there, I think if you start to just take a look at it and maybe implement 1% of your day to making those spots better. 1% of our day is 14 minutes and 40 seconds. If you can allocate 1% of your day to getting a little bit better every day, you're not going to be 1% better at the end of 30 days. You're going to be exponentially better. So, and you're right. The preparation reduces the level of anticipation, anxiety, and puts you more into the power of participation in the event.
Yeah.
So,
no, dude, it makes a lot of sense, man. This is something that isn't it Mental Health Awareness Month too this month?
It is.
Is that May?
Yep. You know, they say baseball's 90% mental, but we train it less than 10% of the time, not because, you know, coaches in programs don't want to. It's just they don't know where to start. So, you know, I think it's something, as we are in Mental Health Awareness Month, that is of critical importance. And it's not so much taboo anymore as it was 20 years ago. If you said, yeah, I got a mental guy, they go, man, what? I don't need a mental guy. What are you talking about? And now it's unheard of for guys not to be, you know, exploring mental skills as pertain to their life and sport.
You know what? Because we've talked a lot about this as far as like what to call it. I really like life optimization, because really that's what you're doing. You're optimizing different arenas of your life. And dude, this whole podcast, The Daily Hustle, started as a life optimization podcast, and take it a step further, it could be life and skill optimization, right? I mean, if we want to get specific with each skill, and you're right about the, say, 14 minutes a day or whatever it is, you're only going to get out what you put in. And so if I'm going to chase my dream of being a pro pickleball player, each and every single morning when I wake up, I go, what am I going to do today to put me on the path to be able to play at the level that I want to play at? And it's like, okay, 100 dinks here, 100 dinks here. I mean, this is before my game gets going. Backhand flip, both hands, you know, serves, whatever, and then go play 3-4 hours of pickleball. That's it. And learn from those. I watch videos. Have a plan. I did the same shit when I wanted to become a professional baseball player. Same shit. I would take 100 swings before school. I'd take 100 swings after school. That was during football season. That wasn't even baseball season. Every single day, I did something that was going to make me a better baseball player. Kobe Bryant said every single day, everything he did was with the intention of becoming a better basketball player. Everything he read, every person he talked to, and everything he watched was done with that one intention of becoming the absolute best basketball player he could be. That's a bit obsessive, I know. And the only thing I can tell you is it might not fucking be for everybody, bro. If you want to be mediocre in life and you want to get through life and you don't have to be your best at whatever it is, I'm not even talking about the best. But if you're not chasing the best, what the fuck are you doing? Chase the best, but they know in your mind and heart there's always going to be someone better, but there's always someone to chase. Keep chasing.
You don't rise to the occasion. You don't rise to the moment. You rise to the level of your preparation.
Yeah, you fall to the level of your training. I've lied. That's another one.
Right.
I mean, these are all nuggets that help anybody out in life, no matter what they're doing, no matter what their skill is, no matter what their profession is, no matter what their hobby is.
And then when you bring up, hey man, you know, these things are happening, you go, well, you know, are you doing mental imagery? Are you seeing yourself performing at your very best? No. Are you doing any investment in podcasting, audiobooks, things that would enhance your mental game and your ability to deal with this? No. Are you doing any shadow work? Are you doing any shadow routines from all positions on the field? Or if you're play a different sport, are you going through shadow work where you're taking those breaths? Because like you said, you're not going to show up to the SATs and just crush it. You've got to prepare. So when you're going through your breathing routine, your in-game breath routine, your pre-at-bat routine, you're on the bump and your pitching routine, that can't be the first time you're implementing the breath routine, because it's going to speed up on you and you won't get it. When I go, hey, when I ask somebody their birthday, they immediately go October 5th, 1980. That's how fast that your signal light release should come to you. That's how fast your systems for shadow work and improving your mental skills should come to you. So I think we've got to start looking at the game, and it's hard to quantify mental performance. If you go work out with a trainer, you go, man, I'm getting bigger. I can feel it. I'm losing weight. It's hard to quantify. And like you said, like you've always said, Byrnes, you get out what you put in. So the program works if you work it. And that's part of that ownership of this entire process too. Owning you. If you want to be great and you want to be uncommon amongst common men, you got to do uncommon things.
480-529-5756. Give Kowalski a call, send him a text, FaceTime him. 480-529-5756. Those are the digis. I am off to play pickleball. We have Deuces Wild tonight at 6 p.m. We will see everybody there. Giants-Dodgers kick it off at 6:45. See if the Giants can salvage a game of this series. Highly unlikely the way things have been going for them. But you got to imagine things could turn around. Your boy Chappie has he's starting to get it going, man. And he had that off day, but I went to the game the other day when he hit the grand slam. It was fucking awesome. His defense has been lights out. So we'll see. They're going through a rough patch right now. All right, man. Any final words for the Daily Hustlers, Kowalski?
Every day is opening day. Have a day one mentality and make sure that we know that all things in life are happening for us, not to us. Good. Gritty beats pretty. More gratitude, less attitude, and have a growth versus a fixed mindset. And know that the best is yet to come, Byrnesy.
On that note, see ya!